Just give an introduction to some of the stuff you guys will be seeing when you guys get in the hospital, so they put that chronic kidney disease. Where do we stop?
The next one, the question,
If you look at it.
and then that was D.
Look at it. The GFR of
What did we
life,
see?
D.
that's just
No, D.
renal failure.
D. D.
D? Yeah, less than 15, that's when you're in stage renal disease. What are the options of end-stage renal disease right now?
Kidney
Yes,
transplant or
And dialysis?
dialysis?
Dialysis right now. All right, what's that then? So, that's why it's tough, that's why it's weird. All right, so some of the complications, wow, they're getting younger and younger here. 1306. So hypertension and alterations in cardiovascular function is going to be some of the consequences of chronic kidney disease, right? We'll go through some of them in more detail. Gastrointestinal disorders, so anorexia, nausea, vomiting, ulceration, and GI bleeding. And then if you get GI bleeding, what could that lead to further on down the road?
Colon cancer?
That's
Cancer?
not to say that. What were you
No,
gonna say?
that's not the bleeding
Huh?
itself.
Are you finished?
Well, the question? We're
What
in here.
could GI bleeding lead to down the road? We'll go through it together and see what we'll get back to it. All right.
Oh, we're on
Neurological
34.
complications.
Chapter 34.
Peripheral neuropathy, what is that?
Loss of sensation?
Loss of sensation, loss of nerve function towards the outside, but where?
Like
The outer limbs, like your fingers.
Your toes, your legs, yeah. Your lower limbs. What's uremia? Uremia or uremic syndrome. And then you can get what's called uremic encephalopathy. What do you think uremia would be? What does it sound like?
urea in the urine?
Just urine in the blood, it's not just urea too, the whole thing.
Urine in the blood?
Yeah, you get a backup inside of it, you start backing stuff up, start reabsorbing. I mean, it's not like you're.
Blood in your urine?
No, no.
No, urine in your blood.
Urine in your blood, actually.
What
Opposite.
And that can cause huge problems.
I was like, what?
Mainly urea and stuff like that. Okay. Disorders of skin integrity, pale, dry, mucous membrane pruritus, which is what?
High phosphorus.
Itchy skin, yeah, right? Itchy skin, and then what? High phosphate, probably that's gonna cause that. So one of the common complaints of people who have chronic kidney disease, even before they know they have it, is they start getting this itchy, dry skin. And that's one of the ones they start getting. So it always freaks me out when I get itchy, dry skin. Like my kidneys are done. Okay. Immunological disorders, again, high urea, metabolic waste, that uremia is going to decrease all immune and inflammatory responses. It's just going to curtail them. So now you become immunocompromised to some degree. And then calcium and phosphorus disorders, low calcium, high phosphate, phosphorus, okay? What is that going to do? Vitamin D synthesis is impaired, secondary hyperparathyroidism. Tell me how that's going to work. See what you think the doctor.
Doesn't calcium affect your heart too?
Well,
Doesn't that affect your heart too?
calcium's gonna affect all your muscles, sorry. Commodulin binding, tryptomycin binding, all those different. Go through the whole steps of this. Calcium down, phosphate out, okay. Vitamin D synthesis is gonna be impaired, we talked about that because vitamin D is finally activated in the kidneys, right? And then vitamin D is gonna cause you to do what?
Well, isn't it for absorption? So if you're not absorption of calcium.
So now your
If-
vitamin D synthesis is impaired.
Then
so
you
now
can't
your
absorb
is
calcium.
gonna drop.
Yeah.
So you have low calcium. How does your body respond to low calcium?
Raises your blood pressure rate? Or
Nope.
lowers?
Not first, how does it respond? This is from 1306.
Ugh.
1306, this is from 2401.
Your body's gonna try to maintain homeostasis with is it the parathyroid hormone?
I don't know.
No, probably not. But your body wants to absorb. No, your body wants to retain calcium, so it'll tell the kidneys to retain.
Or if it's going to be retaining calcium,
Calcium.
can you do that? You got kidney dysfunction right now anyway.
Um,
What else do you do?
your stomach will also try to do
No vitamin D.
So does that mean you're not gonna pee a lot, cause it's trying to retain it?
No, not so much at this point. And that's one of the weird things about chronic kidney disease. You've got to remember there's a difference between urine output and what's being absorbed and reabsorbed and things like that too. So you can see increases in urine or you can see decreases in urine. Towards the end, we get a decrease usually, but
Will it try to steal from your bones too?
that's what you're
That's what it is.
Start trying to
Ah, that was good.
Okay, start releasing parathyroid hormone because it needs calcium. You have to have calcium for your muscles, right? So you're gonna start releasing that, you're gonna start breaking down your bones, that can lead to what?
Osteoporosis.
Yes, bone issues, things like that. Good. All right, so clinical manifestations of chronic kidney failure. Who here's had their blood work done, anybody?
And my urine done
Why?
for my hormones.
Okay, who's had their blood work done?
Me?
Just 3, 4 of us? 7 of you have?
What's
Did
big
they
deal?
look,
I like
did they look at
Your butt and creatinine?
your creatinine
Yeah.
and your blood
Yes.
levels in there?
Yeah.
All right, so accumulation of nitrogenous wastes is gonna be one of the indicators of this. In your blood, you can't get rid of them through the urine. So your blood is good, blood nitrogen level normally is supposed to be about 20 milligrams per deciliter. In renal failure, it gets up to 800. Okay? Creatinine is gonna be down around, does anybody know the creatinine level? Off the top of their head? Come on, give me that. I think it's supposed to be between 12 and 21, I think, maybe per minute per deciliter. So that's gonna start going up. Uremia again is urine in the blood, and this affects all of your organs. You do not want high levels of urine in your blood. Alterations in water, electrolytic and acid-base imbalances are gonna start getting messed up. What does that do to you?
Well, dehydrate for electrolyte.
muscle cramps.
Yeah.
You start losing electrolytes, you start gaining them.
Losing electrolytes.
You lose all of them, or you gain some of them? What do we say before? One goes down, one tends to go up. Calcium goes down.
So your sodium level will go up.
Sodium levels go up or down? I think what's one of the big hallmarks of with the electrolytes that causes problems in kidney patients?
Like pasta?
Potassium is a big one. Potassium, high potassium in these patients. Good. So sodium goes down, potassium shoots up. Okay, mineral skeletal disorders, increased phosphate leads to decrease in what?
Calcium.
What is a serum calcium levels, again, release of what now?
Parathyroid.
Parathyroid hormone, also vitamin D synthesis is impaired. So what I'm trying to get at, when your kidneys start to go, it's just this, like I said, it's like pushing a snowball down the hill, right? It's just gonna get what?
Bigger and bigger and bigger.
Worse and worse and worse and worse it goes down the hill. And it's gonna, one's gonna complicate and exacerbate the other one. And then we talked about bleeding in the GI tract can lead to what?
Anemia.
Anemia. And anticoagulation. 17 after. All right, so using measures to retard deterioration of renal function, treating UTI infections promptly. UTIs can spread up to where?
It can go all the way up to
All
your
of the
kidneys.
kidney and a kidney infection, you don't want that. Avoiding medication with renal damaging potential, what are the ones we talked about?
Insect.
Incentive number 1, and,
Alcohol?
what?
That's under medication.
Some people use it as a medication.
Yeah.
Alcohol, no?
Alcohol.
PPIs?
Yeah, we said that.
The
PPIs?
NSAIDs are the big ones, the PPIs are the other big ones.
PPIs,
What
proton
about
pump inhibitors.
Prilosec, things like that. Even some of the H2 blockers, but they tend to be a lot safer. And then you have the other ones too, but these are the ones you're really worried about because they're what? Am I worried about cisplatin?
No, because they're OTC.
No, unless I, yeah, they're OTC, those are the ones you worry about. You can do some alcohol, alcohol's not too bad on your, don't worry about your liver more with alcohol. Controlling blood sugar and Well, I've been using Pearson's too long. Persons with diabetes, I just saw a new,
Diabetes.
study. In fact, I'm gonna give you all some of these to read a little bit, and then you guys can tell me, because on that Science News Daily, they just found there are like 7 proteins that are indicators of kidney damage and potential chronic kidney failure in diabetes patients. So if
PPOs
they can
are
start getting rid of those
proton pump
somehow, maybe
inhibitors.
they'll protect the kidneys in diabetes patients. And stopping smoking.
But what would smoking do in this? I know smoking is terrible, but I mean, like in
What
this.
does smoking do? What can smoking, somebody give me an answer, how can smoking damage your kidneys? down the
Yeah,
road?
that's what I want to know. Blood pressure?
Hmm?
Somebody back there said blood pressure.
Who said blood pressure?
I don't know.
And it could be blood pressure, anything that's gonna, alcohol's another one, blood pressure, people who drink, even if you're just what we call a heavy drinker, okay, when you first drink alcohol, what happens to your blood pressure?
It drops.
It actually drops because it's a vasodilator at first, right? But chronic use of alcohol, it actually has a reverse effect, that it causes blood pressure to rise. Same thing, you get stenting in the arteries, right? What else? What could all this lead to?
Is it a vasoconstrictor? Is that what it is, or?
I'm thinking more long-term floor effects.
Could it be like atherosclerosis, like it stops,
Oh.
blood?
It's causing, it increases the chance of atherosclerosis, which is gonna increase perfusion. What else do chronic smokers have? What other issues can they have? Think along these lines.
Cancer?
Not cancer, I'm killing them with lung cancer yet. Think about kidneys.
Asthma? Asthma?
Could be asthma, kind of along those lines, but not so much asthma, because they don't almost have to have that. It can trigger, you can have chemicals triggering that, huh?
Emphysema?
Emphysema, bronchitis, COPD, increase in carbon monoxide from smoking. What are all these things gonna do?
Oh,
in
the
long run?
oxygen levels drop.
Oxygen saturation. You're gonna get all these things, decrease in perfusion. It's gonna be the ultimate thing from pop shit,
Got it.
potentially. And then there's some of the chemicals in smoking that I need to look at which ones actually cause kidney damage. All right. Target populations for compromising persons with chronic renal failure, persons with chronic renal insufficiency, persons with renal failure being treated on hemodialysis. We'll go through these right now in a minute. Persons on renal failure being treated with peritoneal dialysis and transplant. So basically, this is what you're talking about. What?
These people are in danger for chronic.
Well, they already got it. I mean, they're way past that.
No, well, they have acute, but they're in danger to get chronic, right?
No, these are, if you're on any
Oh.
of these, you're already, that ship is sailed.
Screwed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the idea is, these are target population compromising persons with chronic, these are people you wanna look at too, in terms of therapeutic, not for the kidneys as much, it's just complications from chronic kidney.
From the oh, okay.
So, we'll go through all these in a minute, the different types. I wanna get through these real quick. All right, the extent of renal function that is present. What is your GFR? Are you at less than 60, but over 39? Are you at 39, but over what, 20? Or are you down over 15? Coexisting disease conditions, what would those be? Or might those be?
Diabetes, right? No?
Diabetes would be one of them. Hypertension could be another one. Even high cholesterol can pop into this stuff too. Hypercholesterolemia. Type of renal replacement therapy that a person is receiving, and again, I'll go over this in a second.
High cholesterol, diabetes, and what was the other one?
Hypertension.
Hypertension.
Hypertension is just this. Hypertension can cause kidney damage, and then kidney damage can cause what? Hypertension, and it just can get worse.
Go
and
back
worse
and
worse.
forth, yeah.
To get to the point where it's almost uncontrollable in some of these patients. So. Everybody said we go these a little bit more order. So sodium and water balance, kidney's function and the regulation of extracellular fluid volume. Okay? If you can't get rid of fluid, what's going to happen?
The buildup.
You're going to build up a fluid inside of you. If you have sodium, you're bringing in too much sodium, what's going to follow that sodium?
Water.
Water. If you're getting rid of too much sodium, water should do what? Not be reabsorbed. Potassium balance, approximately 90% of potassium is excreted through the kidneys. So if you can't get rid of that potassium through the kidneys, what's going to happen? And this is one of the major concerns of people with chronic kidney disease that keep an eye on is potassium, blood potassium levels. If you can't get rid of it, it's gonna do what? Go up, right? Acid-base balance, what do your kidneys do in terms of acid and base?
Calculated.
Blood.
You know, they excrete all the waste.
All the ways, but in particular, they eliminate hydrogen ions produced by metabolic processes. Remember that in the kidneys? Towards the end, they start dumping out hydrogen ions, and then you regenerate bicarbonate also, the kidneys. What does the bicarbonate do?
It keeps it space.
Yeah.
It's a buffer, right, for the most part. Anemia, again, chronic blood loss. You know, what's hemolysis?
Death of the.
Blood cells?
Hmm?
No.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Blood cells, like they're.
Breakdown of blood cells, good. Hemolysis,
That's what
bone
it
marrow
said.
suppression due to uremia. Again, you get this uremic syndrome, it's gonna suppress bone marrow makes blood cells. So again, I'm trying to get a point, you see this what? We're gonna keep going and over again, it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse. Kidney is probably, you talk to some physicians, they say the kidney is the smartest organ in your body.
Yeah,
Because what does it do?
everything.
What does it do?
Well, it filters your blood. It regulates blood pressure.
Regulates blood pressure, regulates red blood cell production, regulates acid-base balance, regulates fluid balance.
Yeah.
And coagulation pathologies, platelet function is impaired, so now you can't clot, so you start having clotting issues also. All right. Hypertension increases volume, increases peripheral resistance, increases, what's the RAS?
Renin, angiotensin, something.
Aldosterone, renin, angiotensin, aldosterone
System.
system, okay.
So
I
how
get
does
a
it work?
mechanism, so.
I'll give you all some extra credit so we can walk me through how it works and give me all of its functions that goes through.
Crap.
Oh, sorry.
Well, angiotensin 1 is converted to angiotensin 2. I don't know, it's like.
That's part of it, and that's made in the lung, part of it, right?
And then the
Can I use that?
aldosterone.
Aldosterone doesn't it signal the ADH?
Huh?
Doesn't it?
I can put up your notes, man.
Matthew.
No Googling, Emily.
I thought it does. You want a whole chart in my head.
Angiotensin
it goes
is
like
converted
that.
angiotensin, 1 is converted angiotensin 2, and then that actually has a couple different functions. One, it causes what?
Vasodilation.
Good, causes vasodilation or
Constriction.
Vasoconstriction, yeah.
constriction. Remember, you're worried about blood pressure going too low with your system, not too high, so you get vasoconstriction, and it causes the release of aldosterone. And aldosterone then goes and causes you to reabsorb sodium, and where sodium goes,
Water
water
follows.
fallout. Good. So you have this again, massive increase in blood pressure that you can't control. So how would you prevent this? What would you take? What's
And
your
a
drug?
proton pump inhibitor, right? Is that what it's for?
Nope, PPIs are for stomach. I can use one right now.
Like diuretics or?
The diuretics, you could use diuretics, that's the first line treatment, we usually don't do much. And
What
what's
is
the,
that? It's one
what are
with
the drugs, guys, for,
Beta blocker? For hypertension?
yeah, in particular this one right here?
ACE inhibitors.
ACE inhibitor.
ARBs?
ARBs, which are what?
Angiotensin.
Renin.
Receptor blockers?
Yep,
Yeah.
there you go.
Good
Angiotensin
job.
receptor blockers, that blocks the receptors, that's one of them, that's usually the second line, what's the other one?
ACE
ACE,
inhibitors.
ACE inhibitor, AREs, right? ACE inhibitors inhibit the enzyme, which is, angiotensin converting enzyme, which it converts angiotensin 1, angiotensin 2. So you try and get both of those. All right, heart disease, mortality rate for C in chronic kidney failure is much higher, 10 to 20 times. Of most people, they don't die just right out from kidney failure, they're gonna die from cardiac failure. That's the next big one that gets them. Ventricular hypertrophy, ischemic heart disease. Right? And then uremia is gonna cause what?
Pericarditis.
Pericarditis, right? Inflammation of where?
The heart, the sac of the heart, like
Pericardium,
the,
right?
yeah.
So all these things again, it's just this over and over and over again. I guess we just like to question stuff out. All right. CKT in its treatment can interfere with the absorption, distribution, elimination of some drugs, okay? Altered drug absorption and acid treatments, okay? Altered metabolism, how is this gonna happen? Your kidney actually does some metabolic stuff like the liver. You actually do some drug metabolism in the liver, that, in the kidney, not the liver, so that's gonna start to go down. Secondly, you start losing albumin. What are the two jobs for albumin?
He said like osmotic pressure.
The colloidal osmotic pressure, so that leads to edema, right? Fluid retention in the interstitial spaces, you can't pull that in. What is the other thing albumin does in terms of drugs?
A buffer?
Albumin is a carrier protein for a lot of drugs, so it binds up a lot of these drugs, so you can keep them around longer. They're not bioavailable at that point, they can stay around. So, less albumin, less what? Protein bound drugs can have two effects. One, it can either make them more bioavailable, or it can decrease their half-life, depending on what's going on. And so this is gonna do what now?
You have to change the dose
You
and
have
fix
to
it.
change your dosages. What are the two things you wanna talk to a patient about in terms of looking at altering dosing schedules? One of them's right there, so that should be an easy answer. What would it be? Say you got a patient that comes in there and they look kinda.
Well, you have to first
old and
find
that's
out
why
if they're
they're-
taking the drug, because a lot of
You're
the,
prescribing, you're gonna look at prescribing it.
because a lot of the,
You're saying if they're old and what?
Just the whole.
Just the old and
Well,
general.
if they're older, you're gonna give them less.
Why?
Because they're more sensitive.
Why?
They don't
Metabolism is
absorb.
You said that older
Because
people,
why? Why are they more sensitive to them?
The
Because they're
metabolism.
more likely to have some kind of kidney damage.
Part of it's kidney damage. They can't get rid of them, they can't metabolize them in the kidneys. So the two things you look for in patients when it comes to dosing are people with kidney damage and liver damage. The two metabolic processes that are used to get rid of drugs. All right, question 3, what's the following alteration may affect drug efficacy in a patient with CKD?
What?
See?
Just read it.
Oh, lots of albumin.
See?
Keep forgetting to take those out. All right. Last one is alter drug metabolism via increased intermediates and what? Faster action. It's not bound up with albumin. Over time, it becomes more bioavailable. Okay? So there's two different ways you can use it. All right. So now we're talking about two types of dialysis. Okay. Hemodialysis and peritoneal dialysis. What is the difference? Anybody know?
Would one go through,
That's about 4 or 5 different types. These are the two
okay,
big
never mind,
types.
no.
Anybody know the difference? How they work?
I wanna say like one goes through the arm and the other one goes through your
We got this guy right here.
gut.
No,
Gut.
What's your actual like kidney?
Peritoneum,
Peritoneum? Okay, what's hemodialysis? Let's do that one first.
blood. So that one goes through
Okay,
your,
yeah, the dialyzing blood.
Filtering your blood?
So that's what you think of when you think of typical dialysis, right?
yeah.
You go, you get plugged into a machine for about 4 hours, about 3 to 4 times a week, and they just run your blood through a filter and filter out all the toxins. Then dialysis tubing, it runs through, you set up an osmotic gradient in there, and it should move everything out, right? Theoretically. What does it not do, though?
What does it not do?
Yep. Is this a complete replacement for your kidneys?
No.
No.
Why?
Because it doesn't do anything else your kidneys do.
It's just filtering out, you're just filtering out the metabolic waste. It doesn't do all the regulatory mechanisms your kidneys do. Hopefully, some people, they still have enough kidney function, that kind of work, okay? Peritoneal dialysis is where you use the peritoneal, the membrane inside of your peritoneum as a semi-permeable membrane. So they take you, actually you can do this at home, most people do it at home. So they fill you up with a fluid to dilate, okay? And it's got glucose in it and other stuff in it. But the point is, it's gonna be nice and clean, right? And they fill up your cavity with this fluid, and then what's gonna happen over time? How do you think it works? So this guy can get pumped full of this stuff in his catheter, his peritoneum, abdominal cavity. It'll fill up.
Over time, do you absorb it?
Absorb it, what would that do?
Like you start to filter.
So this is that peritoneum, that membrane. So what do you think's going to happen here?
It'll flush out your kidneys eventually,
Well, your
maybe?
kidneys are they're back over here.
It'll flush out your guts then?
Not flush out your gut. What are you trying to do with dialysis?
You're trying to push out the toxins and get new, like,
So how do you think this is gonna work? Just think.
over time, do you kind of like get rid of those toxins and then
But how?
Because you're introducing new,
Maybe
like the
by
glucose
digesting
and all of
them,
that.
like when you digest them.
No, because these are in your blood, guys. Remember, this is metabolic waste that's flowing around in your blood, right? Still dialysis, right? But still dialyzing.
If you're introducing like the new, like the good stuff, right? Do you get like a buildup of it and then you start to get rid of it?
Not really. So what do you think you're doing? You're filling this up with a nice clean fluid, right?
Okay.
Okay.
What kind of fluid?
Not, it's gonna be glucose, it's gonna have some sodium and a couple of things in it. It's gotta be, it can't be super, it can't be just water, right? What if you pump your peritoneum full of water? What would happen?
It's gonna absorb it and you're gonna get sodium.
You would have
Hypertonic.
massive lysis and stuff in there, right? It'd be bad. So it's gotta be somewhat close. You have to be careful. Can't be pumping super hypotonic solutions in there.
Yeah.
So but you still wanna set up sort of a gradient, right? So if this is a little bit less, little hypotonic to your regular tissues in there, like your blood, like what's going to happen? Do what?
I was gonna say it absorbs the toxins.
What absorbs it? Good, the fluid does. They move out of the blood into the fluid.
Oh.
So they're gonna move out into the fluid, and then after you let it sit there for a while, they drain this back out, and then sometimes they'll fill you back up. Not sometimes, they do fill you back up. Now, the nice thing about this is you can do it usually by yourself at home,
Oh.
and there's also a setup now that'll do it automatically. You can actually do it at night while you sleep.
So,
Not quite as efficient, so it
I was
takes
gonna
longer.
ask.
Not quite as efficient, it takes longer, but you're not sitting
For 4 hours.
for 4 hours, 4 times a day. Does anybody know anybody who's been on dialysis? I know we've talked to somebody before.
Yeah.
What does it do to them, just?
And that tires them out.
Emotionally,
yeah. It stresses them out.
it just tires them out, it just emotionally drains them.
Yeah.
And they just have to sit there for 4 hours a day. So this is a little bit better. Like I said, though, they're getting really close to getting a couple of artificial kidneys being made, so. And the transplantation is what?
Kidney, new kidney.
Transplant.
That's the ultimate goal, because how long can you live with a new kidney?
As long as the kidney lives.
Hard to say, but they've had people that live for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get a good match and you do really well in your therapy. Who was the guy who was in Dallas? The TV show, when you guys weren't even around?
Oh, the guy from My Dream, Genie?
Yeah.
Oh,
Y'all know what I'm talking about, anybody?
Nope.
Yeah.
No, not helping?
Lost me.
Okay, well, he had a wee bit of a drinking problem. And he found out the last season of that show in the 80s or 90s that he had massive cirrhosis of the liver, and I think he had hepatocellular carcinoma. So they put a liver transplant in him.
Be rejected.
Nope, he lived for 21 years
mm-hmm.
with that, which is pretty good with that, and he actually died of something else. The liver is still functioning, so if you do well with transplant, it can be okay.
Oh, it's gonna
But I
kill
want
me.
to show you all some of the alternatives they're coming up with, right? That you guys are gonna be coming across. All right, now, if you have renal failure, they're gonna modify your diet. Protein restricted diet, you wanna drop down on the proteins. Carbohydrates, fat, and calories, you wanna increase those. It's hard to get rid of proteins out of your urine, you don't want that in there.
Oh.
Potassium is gonna be what?
Low.
If you have a very low GFR, glomerular filtration rate, they're gonna restrict your potassium,
Mm-hmm.
because otherwise it's gonna skyrocket up.
Mm-hmm.
And if potassium goes up, what could happen?
Not like your regular heart rate.
Heart rate, any of your muscle fiber, anything you're gonna offset that membrane from action potential. Sodium and fluid intake is gonna be what? Restricted, because you're already having what? If you lose albumin already, you've lost all these other things, you're gonna have what?
More lost.
See, this is where your GFR, see, this is where I said, this is where GFR in urine output can, remember I said they can be different? One's a glomerular filtration rate, the other one's actually urine production, fluid. But if you get to the point where you're not getting rid of enough fluid, you're gonna have to restrict fluid intake, right? Because you're retaining too much fluid. And if you take too much sodium in your diet, what is that gonna cause?
Edema.
But in terms of fluid intake, what's that gonna do?
Retention.
More water.
You're gonna bring back more fluid, you're gonna be retaining even more, so they're gonna restrict all. Alright, here's the old people we talked about. Normal decrease in GFR with age, again, increased detrimental effects of nephrotoxic drugs over time. And you get older, just what? We just what?
Fall apart.
We just wear out. I mean, the kidney can't regenerate itself. So greater incidence of what?
Cerebrovascular.
Why? You all think? Cerebrovascular?
Because you're starting to lose your elasticity, so then you're going to start having problems with all that kind of stuff.
You're already getting old. You're already starting to have issues with your vascular system anyway. And skeletal system, especially what with your skeletal system.
The degeneration of your
Degeneration of that, everybody starts getting a little bit of what as they get older.
osteoporosis.
Osteoporosis and things like that. All right, treatment time for chronic renal, and, oh, I thought I took this out. All right, that's it. I want to get to the kidney.